Okay, this is Devil's Dyke on the 16th of May 2023. There's no sound in this video, and I don't know why. It's every now and again I switch my GoPro on and it just refuses to record sound. So I have to talk you through this. This lesson it comes in the form of expectation. So it's, what were my expectations of the day and what actually happened? What were my dreams versus what was reality? This was predicted to be a 5-star day. And so my expectation of it was that I would be whisked up to cloud base. Everything was to be going up. It would be impossible to fail on a day like such. And I would fly, I don't know, 2 huge XE triangles across the entire valley, end up back home in London, no problem. Turning back towards the hill now, and I'm 23 meters below, 23 meters above, and sinking fast. I was trying to go for my speed bar because I wanted to hustle back to the hill, see if I could save some height. And I arrive below, well below, ridge height, and that ended up putting me on the ground. Here I am now on the ground. Sound is still playing up on my GoPro, and I'm like, why won't you learn? This is a summary of what happened the rest of the day. So there you go. It was an on-off day as opposed to my expectations, which were completely on. And I realized that I had to fly the conditions as they existed on the day and not as they existed in my mind. Now on to the next lesson, which was one about wind changes and change in direction. So for any of you who stuck around for the evening session on Tuesday the 16th of May at Devil's Dyke, I'd like to hear from you as well. But basically, I have to do this lesson, or my personal lesson, on my track log because somebody decided to record the inside of their paraglider for half an hour. So I ran out of battery and I couldn't videotape, or I couldn't record myself flying. But yeah, as I said, evening, Devil's Dyke, 16th of May 2023, and takeoff is pretty straightforward. I think if I run this, is probably easier. Set that to 1. So pretty much, staying on the hill, and the wind was pretty much on the hill when we took off, when I took off. Flew some beats, didn't pay much attention to anything, and when I got to around about here, you can see I go from 18 kilometers down to 17 kilometers an hour, 15. There's a 7 in there. It felt pretty horrible. I mean, this whole area felt disgusting. It felt like somebody had jumped on my paraglider and was actually beating it down with a mallet. Like, the paraglider felt like it stopped in midair and it got knocked back and then went forward and kind of went straight down at some point, it felt like. And I was in this area and I kind of thought to myself, I mean, this was working because the wind was straight onto the hill. Has the wind shifted? Has the wind actually turned direction completely? And so I thought this felt very much like it was turbulence. And as I got to this area here, you can see by the lift values, everything's starting to even out and started to feel a lot better. It started to feel a lot more stable, and as if my paraglider wasn't broken. because it felt like my paraglider was actually broken. And what had happened is the wind had switched, looks like completely to, this angle. And I wasn't expecting this at all, even though it was forecast to switch and I wasn't paying attention. And I ended up in pretty grotty air around about here. And I think what had happened, or what is happening, is that the air is coming off in this direction here, the wind, and it's hitting this protuberance and it's going around it and it's causing some turbulence as it's coming off this hill. And I didn't sort of notice it until I was in the bad air. And that kind of felt dangerous to me. And so if we look at Google Earth and we take another look at how the wind, I think, was coming in, it would have been coming in at this angle here and hitting this hill and then tumbling over. And so flying in this area here, if I control the paraglider correctly, this was not very good. And so it's one of those things where, you're paragliding and you're on your own, in the air, and there's nobody there to talk to, there's nobody there to ask questions of. So you have to kind of know this stuff before you get into any kind of situation which is bad. And so this is why I do these videos, to kind of show you, where I think I made a mistake, so that it doesn't happen to you again. It doesn't happen to you, or we can talk about it. And you can sort of post maybe your experiences of the day. But that is what I think happened. And of course, if I'm completely wrong, please do tell me about it so that I can adjust. But that is the best reckoning that I have of what actually happened. So the wind completely switched. And interestingly as well, if you swing the map around, if Google Earth will let me do so, if you look at it down the ridge, any kind of wind that's coming along, on this angle as well, so it's just northwest, it looks like, it would cause turbulence, and this whole bowl would be kind of a no-go area, is what that looks like to me. So what, could I have done about it? So going back to track log, and let me just move things around. See, there's these two turns here. There's one turn here. Let's just take it back. And the shape of this turn is kind of pointing at the fact that the wind has switched direction. So going into wind, it's kind of showing me that the wind has actually switched already because of the shape of that turn. As you turn into wind, you have a very slow turn here. So that I should have paid attention to that more. And I don't know if anybody else is like me, and we fly along and we don't really, we do our turns and we don't really sort of think about it. How confident am I that I know which direction the wind is coming from in one turn? I'm not very confident. Put myself at about a 5, maybe a 6. Because of the situation. It was, it happened. I should have noticed it, and that may have prevented me from going into this area here. So there you go. We're all flying on our own, And it's a good thing to know, when things can go wrong. I wouldn't have called the situation very dangerous, but I definitely, was in a situation where, I should probably not have been. And, paragliding is such that if, you have a huge failure, then it can result in, the results can be very bad. If you're baking a cake and you have a huge failure, you throw the cake in the bin, you feed it to the dog, you use it to compost the garden, it's no big deal. But paragliding, you got to take care of the small mistakes, because if the small mistakes are allowed to knock on to each other, then you end up with quite a big one, which can be quite bad. That's that. Thank you for watching. And let me know if I'm completely wrong about this, and if there are other techniques that I could use to nail these turns in one. Have a good time and see you later. Bye bye.